Welcome, friend, to Life and Liberty Radio. I'm David Householder, here to encourage your pursuit of happiness. You and I are partners, exploring our shared spiritual journeys. Together, we're dreaming and working for a free society. Tell others today about our adventure in faith and freedom. So breathe in, open your mind, lift up your spirit. Let's get started. Well, I just had a sort of celebrity death match on Twitter with people who wanted to convince me that global warming is a big deal and that I need to make sure that our governments regulate everything, perhaps even cigarette smoke, I don't know, and make an agreement with China and with India to make sure this sticks, because otherwise we are doomed. And the truth is, we don't fully understand the weather. We don't understand things like climate that well. We understand some of it. But this doom and chicken little thing, I used to believe it back in the 60s in grade school when we had the Weekly Reader, and the Weekly Reader would come out on Fridays, and we'd open it up and boom, we got hit with Paul Ehrlich and the population bomb. And I was told in my Weekly Reader, I'm not making this up, that we would have 50 billion people by now on Earth. Well, we're hitting 7, and it's going to peak in about a generation or two. And most of us alive right now, most of you listening right now, perhaps you yourself, will see the population of the Earth start to drop, and it's going to drop fast. So overpopulation is never going to happen. Underpopulation is a serious issue economically, socially, and otherwise. Politically, the whole deal. Because people are an asset, not a liability to the planet. So this whole doom thing, I don't buy the doom thing. I really don't. For one thing, I believe in God, and I believe that we're being regulated by a higher power that we don't fully understand. And the second thing is, just relax. I mean, when you get older, you start to realize that the Y2Ks and the Mayan calendars and the overpopulation and all of this and acid rain, it's all baloney. And sometimes there really is something that threatens the planet. But, you just don't get alarmed at every little thing that comes along. On the other hand, I don't want to be like Henrik Ibsen's play, An Enemy of the People, En Folkefiende, from 1882. I happen to be a Norwegian American. Most of my bloodline comes through Norway, a country that has contributed virtually nothing to the human race, but still, it's my country, as the way it goes, and I'm very blessed to be in America. But the whole Norwegian thing, enemy of the people, picture the fjords of Norway, picture a health spa, picture Thomas Stockmann, and Thomas Stockmann in the play is the protagonist. And he and his family and everybody else in town, they're setting up this spa because there's this wonderful water coming out of the mountains in the fjord, and it's going to make everyone healthy. But Thomas finds out that the water is poisoned, and he says, "Hey, everybody, the water's poisoned. It's going to kill the tourists, and it's really bad." And everybody lines up against him because he's an enemy of the people, because he doesn't understand that this is profitable, that we have to have these nature water baths here for all the tourists. And Thomas is wrecking the whole thing, so they go after him, and they persecute him for telling the truth. And I think there's a lot of people who advocate climate change and global warming because they want to see themselves as Thomas Stockmann from Henrik Ibsen. But on the other hand, I don't want to be the crowd that kind of shuts down Thomas Stockmann either. And the truth is, let's be honest, those of us who are more conservative in our orientation, we have been like the crowd that shuts down Thomas Stockmann. We don't want to hear the evidence. We don't want to hear it. There's no global warming. It's not there. It's not there. Because you guys are from the left and I don't like you. But the truth is, there might be global warming. The truth is they don't know, and we don't know, and this is a calculus equation that is so gigantic, and it's got way more variables than constants, that there is no way we're just going to kind of figure it out this month. Not going to happen. And whatever they predict will probably be wrong. In any case, let's say that there is some global warming going on. Let's just say for fun that there is global warming. I'm not sure. I lay my cards on the table. I play with my cards face up. I don't hide my cards. I don't hold them close to the vest. I let everyone know what I think right away. I'm a political libertarian. I'm a person who grew up Lutheran. I have Scandinavian background. I have a Pentecostal spirituality. I love Holy Spirit stuff. That's how I'm wired. I believe in that stuff, and I don't try to hide that. But the truth is, the Earth has never had a time of stable temperature. Let me say that again. Planet Earth, according to people who study these things, has never had a time of stable temperatures. Temperatures have always been going up or always been going down, one or the other all the time. And I get the impression from the climate change people that if we could just put a Honeywell thermostat on the Earth and keep it at 68.5, we'd be fine. 68.5 Fahrenheit, 20 whatever Celsius, we'd be fine. But you know and I know, ain't going to happen. And if we did, we'd probably wreck the planet somehow by over-regulating something that should be left alone. So, we all know that there are parts of the Earth where it used to be a jungle, now it's a desert. And hey, I've done my time in Minnesota. I really have. And we all know that Minnesota was covered by a gigantic continental glacier, most of the state. And there's huge rocks that have been left behind when the glaciers melted. And if you fly over Minnesota, it's the land of how many lakes on the license plate? 10,000 lakes. Well, that water still hasn't drained out since the last ice age, which wasn't that long ago, by the way. There must have been global warming. Yes, there was. So for us to assert that there is no global warming, we don't know that. There might be. There might not be. Probably we have been going through a warming cycle for the last few thousand years. And perhaps our carbon activity, our burning of fossil fuels has accelerated that some. Maybe, maybe not, probably, I don't know. But the truth is, this world is so gigantic that the change will be so gradual, centimeter by millimeter, of water encroaching on the beach that it's just going to happen so slowly. Are you really worried about the sun going supernova? It's going to happen, they say, in a few billion years. Well, it's going to be gradual. And some things might happen on the way. But that's life. Life is full of all kinds of stuff that goes up and down. And, we don't have total control over it. If you're like me, you love getting packages in the mail from Amazon. I love to check the side of my house because that's where they come. I've got a little table set up there. I think, ooh, there's a package. And I love shopping with Amazon. You say, well, it costs extra with the shipping, but the truth is you'd spend a lot more in gas and time just driving around looking for stuff. You can find almost anything on Amazon. It's kind of like the old Sears catalog or the Wells Fargo wagon. It's part of our American tradition to have delivery to our homes. And if you shop on Amazon, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Would you please do all of your Amazon shopping through my website, davidhouseholder.com. Go to davidhouseholder.com. At the top of the page, there's an Amazon banner. Click on there and do your shopping from there. If you do that, I will get a portion of the proceeds, which will keep this show on the air. So it's good for you, it's good for me, it's good for everybody. Hey, it's good for America. Shop on Amazon and do it through davidhouseholder.com. For all we know, think about this. Global warming could be beneficial. It really could. There may be parts of the world that become very, very profitable, parts of the world that become very verdant, parts of the world that used to have real problems with harsh weather becoming nicer. Think about it. I mean, do we just know that rising temperatures equals evil? Probably not. Good chance that a lot of the world will benefit and the rest of the world will suffer, but it will be so gradual. It's not like we're going to have waves of tsunamis of nasty stuff next week. No, it's not going to happen. And so we don't know. It could be beneficial, could be problematic. The weather could be going up, and starting next year we could have a glacial trend. We don't know. There are no straight lines in nature. Look at a tree. Trees are crooked, and the trend lines are crooked in nature. There is no geometric, arithmetic progression in nature. Things happen all over the place, and they happen lots of different directions. And so what we have to do is pay attention to those. Well, humankind has a place in this terrible, terrible thing called global warming because we have had our finger on the scales. Well, last I checked, we're a part of nature too. It's kind of our planet too. It's not just belonging to Bambi and the animals. It belongs to us, and we're going to behave like, God forbid, humans. And we might want to keep warm in the winter, and we might want to drive our cars to get somewhere so we can do something. And, the whole idea that we are somehow a cancer on the earth. We are a benefit to the earth. Please listen to that. Human beings are an asset, not a liability, no matter what the Weekly Reader taught you, no matter what the government schools taught you. Less people is not better. Ancient wisdom tells us, be fruitful and multiply, have a full family. Enjoy that. The earth is empty. You don't believe that? You don't believe the world's empty? Would you please fly anywhere in the world, take a window seat? There's nobody down there. Seriously, across the United States. The United States is so underpopulated. Yes, underpopulated. Why? It's beautiful land not used at all over the United States. And the truth is, with the United States, we could take 3 or 4 times the population we have here and be just fine. The only reason we're all spread out and urban sprawl is kind of messy is because the government got messed up and stuff. There might be our part in it. We might have a part in global warming through our activity, but we're part of nature too, and it has to be kind of figured in. We're going to do what we're going to do. Here's the problem. When people look at climate change, they look at statist solutions. The government better fix this. Oh, yeah, we're going to trust the government. The government that gave us the socialist freeways in the first place that caused all the pollution from all the cars. The massive gridlock that would not be there had they not built these socialist concrete ways all over the place, which caused the urban sprawl, which caused everything. They're the ones that caused most of the carbon stuff up there. Well, it's the corporations. No, it's not the corporations. Corporations, according to common law, if they pollute, must pay restitution. You can sue a company that pollutes. No, for the last 100 years, since the Progressive Era, we've had all of these big labor-backed, big government people saying, no, we have to give exemptions to these big factories because it creates jobs and it's vital for America to get our war machine going. People, think about it. Just think about it. Those are protected factories. You can't sue them. Go ahead and try. You can't do it. I grew up in Kellogg, Idaho. An ashtray of an environmental mess. The Bunker Hill mine, lead silver mines, smelters, the whole deal. We couldn't go outside. We could not go outside at recess. Why? Because all of these mines and the smelters and everything, it was all on public land. They didn't have to keep it up. It was leased from the government, so their incentive was to exploit it as fast as possible and pollute. Who cares? And they were given exemption by everyone. And the entire Silver Valley Basin is still a toxic waste dump. And there's all kinds of heavy metals at the bottom of Lake Coeur d'Alene because of that. Whereas had it been private property, they would have been liable, and they would have been open to lawsuit, vulnerable to lawsuit. Think about that. The state, Caesar, Pharaoh, Herod, Alexander the Great, whatever, Genghis Khan, is not the answer. They really aren't. The truth is, the free market will give us the cleanest, the cheapest, the most convenient products and meet our needs the best of anyone. No, those corporations, they're out to get us and pollute. No, they're not. Monopolistic corporations are only monopolistic because the government has favored them. In a totally free market, the Samsungs of the world are always right on the heels of Apple. We don't need to regulate that. Competition does that. And corporations want to serve you. They don't want to manipulate you. They want to give you what you want. And if they give you what you want, they will make money. That's called the profit incentive, the service incentive. And they will give you something clean and cheap and convenient. People like clean things. People like to get them now, and people like a good value. The free market is the best guarantor of a clean, free economy of anything. Think about that. The government's going to save us. Well, who taught you that? The government schools. So pay attention. Think different. Think freedom. Think perhaps there's a spiritual grounding to all this. Perhaps there really is a God in charge. Perhaps we're just a part of nature. Perhaps we're the crown of creation. Perhaps there will be change in the creation, as there always has been. Perhaps we have what it takes to adapt. Perhaps if the government left us alone, there'd be a whole lot less pollution. Can you imagine if the government of China or the government of India built an interstate system like the one we have? An interstate highway system? Can you imagine what a mess that would be? Can you imagine the pollution that would come of that? We don't want that. We don't need that. That's the result of state government intervention. Had they never built the interstate system here in the United States, can you imagine the transportation system that we would have? It would be clean, it would be private, it would be profitable, it would be fast, it would be convenient. Who knows what it would look like? But it wouldn't look like the 405 in LA, gridlocked, puffing smoke into the air, and people wasting hours of their lives. It wouldn't look like that. Well, the truth is we need to calm all the hysteria out there and pay attention to what's happening. Trust the people. Trust the Creator. Don't trust Herod. Don't trust Caesar. Don't trust the Pharaoh. That's not where the answers come. The Creator's plan is for a clean and thriving society, a clean and thriving creation. Take part in it. Don't indulge the fear. Make stuff that's clean. Serve people. Take care of people. Do the right thing. Well, that's all for today on Life and Liberty Radio. Thanks so much for sharing this part of your spiritual journey with me. Now, the views on this program are not necessarily those of my advertisers, sponsors, places I work or do business with. They're purely my own, but I'm sharing them with you, so share your ideas with me. Write me on Twitter at Liberty House, LIBERTYHOUS, no E. Until next time, let's continue dreaming and working for a free and spiritually grounded society.